Hello again, fellow hobbyists. I was opening up my mail and realized in this box I have this kit of Dspiae brushes and accessories, and I thought I'd review them because these are not cheap. But I'm going to get into more model kits at a slow pace. I really just don't really like painting stuff. Watching paint dry, not a fun time. But I'm going to do it anyways. So this seller gave me a gift of some like glue tips, or paint tips maybe, really thin. I've used these for crazy glue and they work pretty well actually, so I will use those for fine crazy glue applications. This actually came from AliExpress. In this case the place is called Dspiae Hobby Tool Store. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the retail outlet of Dspiae, but I don't know for sure. And then they can sell nibs, replacement nibs, the actual 4 different colors of paint brushes, 2 water dipping stands, a 4-pack of nibs, and then what I bought is this set, which is a little bit of everything. So let us start first with the, well, let's close this out. The actual paint brush, which is called ATFB 04. Per color. So the black one is 04, the red one is FB01. Alright, so replacement point tips. They're made of aluminum, weighs around 16 grams. That's all I care to know. Anything else in here? I think it's just a piece of foam in there. Yeah, just some foam. Okay, so that's the black one. Yeah, this is the nib. Alright, so the aluminum does seem to have a little plastic sleeve to protect it from shipping vibration, I assume. It's not soft, it's actually kind of rigid. It's a rigid tube. But it seems stronger than a straw. I don't know, maybe it is a straw. Alright, so this is anodized. It's sandblasted and then it's anodized. At least this rear end is sandblasted, but the front end is just smooth, I think. Or it wasn't sandblasted as much. Hold on here, let me move in a little closer. Get the light downwards. You see the backhand, it's much grainier. That's the grains of sand blasting the aluminum. But the front end, you can just see in the reflection, there's more light being reflected. I think it's lightly sandblasted. Let's see about the black one. Maybe that's uniform. So maybe the red one, that front end just didn't get as much blasting. Alright, then there is a laser etched Dspiae logo there. And then this thing actually lets you set the paintbrush size so you can remember if you want. I would think just looking at the paintbrush would do the job, but they gotta sell you on something, right? Alright, so inside we have the simple screw, and there's supposed to be a spring in here. Oh, and there it is. I wonder, no, it doesn't look like a pen spring. It's too thick, and it's also, a pen spring wouldn't have that in the middle of it. I was just worried if I lose one of these, you know, can I replace it easily? And I'm not sure if you can. This is flat here, and then here's the paintbrush. Yeah, very long. And so that pops in here. And then the spring follows that. And then we screw that back together. Now that spring is pretty strong. I feel like it's too strong to even warrant having the spring at all. I mean, if this could move easily, I could maybe understand why they would do this, because you don't want to, you know, squish these hairs and destroy your paintbrush. But if this actually sat in the water at the bottom of a cup or something, it's going to squish these things, because that's a really strong spring. So take what you will from that. And then I guess I should probably know what size. I'm going to go back into my trash barrel. It just says 1 tip. But it doesn't say what size tip, right? Am I crazy? Does it say the size of the tip? FB0. So I don't even know what to set that thing at. Unless, does it say here what it is? This is kind of dumb, right? Am I missing something? But how do I know what size tip this is if the box doesn't tell me what size tip it is? Right? So I don't know what to set this number at. It's the only way I'm going to figure it out is because I bought the other tips. So yeah, keep that in mind. This is the same size, right? Yeah, that is the same size. Okay. Well, I guess let's go into the tips then. So FBT2/0. Let's see if this is an FBT2. And you get 3 tips in this little vial. No, it is not an FBT2. FBT2 is much larger. I think like it would be nice to maybe color code these a little, maybe, or somehow know on that thing what size it is. But no, apparently only the vial is going to tell you. So this is a FBT5. So let's see about this. Now 5 looks even much smaller. So it's not 5, it's not 2. Oh, darn it, look at that. Be careful of this. Gotta protect those hairs. Oh, I think I messed one up already. Alright, this is number 3. Maybe it's number 3. No, number 3 is quite large. And look at this, you see the hair is already messed up? So this packaging it doesn't work. Or whoever put this on maybe put it on poorly, because those hairs have to get clipped off. They're worthless now. I don't think they're gonna bend straight again. So that's unfortunate. Alright, so now what's the last one that came? FBT4. Let's see if they're FBT4s. Okay, so that has to be the same. So these brushes come with FBT4. And I'll put that in there now that I know this. Alright, so this red one I can set to 4. And I don't know, for now I'll put this number 3, or let's see, 2. 2 is quite large. I think I'll use a large one and a smaller one. Yeah, I think number 4 and number 2 are going to work better for my painting situation. Spring comes out. Now that's a nice one. It wasn't messed up. Do be mindful, you want to probably try to center that before you drop it through, or you might mess up the hair. Alright, so yeah, these stickers kind of want to fall off. I feel like the sticker might be too long, and that's why it's trying to peel off too much. Or the glue just simply isn't very good. Alright, number 2. I feel like the 0 is unnecessary, how they name paintbrushes. Alright, so there we go. Those are the differences in size, and I think that works pretty well because they're drastically different. Alright. Last thing are these stands. One is red and one is black. The packaging literally says so. And let's see on the back here, there are the dimensions if that should interest you. The weight even. Okay. It's made of aluminum. Yeah, so basically it keeps your paintbrush from drying out with paint. Little backing card, nice foam. the packaging from Dspiae is really over the top. It's really premium, which is nice, except for the fact that I'm paying for that packaging, and it's just gonna end up in a trash barrel, and sadly polluting the planet. But sadly, guys, any hobby is a polluting of the planet. We don't really need to have hobbies to survive in this world. So I'm an evildoer, just like you if you're a hobbyist. Alright, well, so this aluminum, again, it's sandblasted. It's got that sandy finish, and then they have the nice logo, and I'm pretty sure that's laser etched. Possibly it's a paint tampo print. This thing here is plastic, so the plastic won't scratch up, I guess, your aluminum brush. It's just a bent piece of aluminum, but it's a pretty thick piece of aluminum. I have a hard time thinking you're going to bend that very easily. I guess you could with your hand. I know I could bend that, but you know, that's purposeful destruction, and I don't care to do that. Now this, though, alright, nice. It is a sticker. So that's going to keep the thing from sliding around. So let's see, before I get too much grease on that aluminum. Trying to get this backing off. One trick is to use another piece of tape, so let me go get that. Come on. There. No. Wow, that backing is really on there. I can't get that corner to lift up. Squeeze, so it's really tight. This is crazy. Let me try this one. Get that tape on that backing and try to peel it apart. Oh, I think I got some air under it this time. It's almost there. Let me pause. This is going to take too long. So I did put the rubber on this black one, but not the red one. I just want to show you the difference, you know, and how slick the bottom is. Right? This is pretty easy to flick around, but this is not. Right? Same brush. The red one definitely goes further because there's less grip. Yeah, with any sort of weight on it, I don't think that's going to move at all. But obviously without the rubber piece, it's going to slide around quite a bit. So now I'll put this one on the red. Hold it this way, I'm a righty. I'm going to start from the curved edge. Try to center it with my fingers. Yeah, that's good enough right there. Yeah, so it'll crooked. Not very good. Oh well. Now what's weird is they have an aluminum, like just a raw aluminum color, and they also have an anodized green color. But the stands only come in red and black. I think it would have been cool if they're gonna anodize, you know, the pen green. Why wouldn't they anodize some of the stands green? But it's not an option. And then these are aluminum as well. I would have guessed they'd be plastic, but no, they're sandblasted aluminum. So this is some high quality stuff. You can't break that very easily. There's a very small reservoir, which we'll have to see if that works out or not. Again, I think the intention is just to keep your paintbrush dry from drying out instead of actually cleaning the paintbrush. So that just plops in there. Now what's interesting is this one here, hopefully you can get a better angle, it's much closer to the bottom. Let's see. If we look at the length of these, yeah, what's weird is if this seam line is lined up right here, now look at this, the black paintbrush is longer, right? The red one is clearly, sorry I cannot focus, but the red one is clearly shorter, but when I put it in the stand, that is going much further in than this black one. What? Oh, here's another way to tell. Look at the top of the paintbrush. Right, that's the height difference. Let me flip these. Now they're closer. So there seems to be some deviation in the diameter of this plastic opening. Being plastic, I guess you could take a heat gun to it and maybe bend it a little bit, but I can't even get this out very easily. I see what's going on. The plastic literally has a groove, and the aluminum is, trapping it that way. But this is a little bit more than half a circle, so you literally have to flex this plastic inwards in order to pull this piece of plastic out, and I don't feel like destroying this brand new product, so. But I guess it is possible that you could tweak this just with a heat gun or something like that. This index here is keeping that thing from rotating, which I think is pretty smart. I guess it's not a big deal. The height difference, as long as the actual paintbrush doesn't bottom out against the bottom of this, and do that, then that's fine. And it's not. It's clearly suspended above. Actually, what's more of an issue is maybe the black isn't low enough, because you can see here the red, all the paintbrush can be in the water, assuming that you filled this black thing up with water all the way. But if we look at this, you see the actual hairs are sticking above the water line. So now a capillary action will probably keep that from drying out, but this is guaranteed to keep the paint from not drying out on the brush, whereas this one, it's going to wick a lot of moisture, or I guess the air. Maybe I'm overthinking it. So I used these things, 2 of them, and bought a 3rd one. There's a problem though. The thing is so narrow that I knocked this over like 3 times. It's really easy to knock over because the footprint isn't so wide. Also, these things, I kind of wish the recess was deeper, or ideally these would be magnetic, like there'd be a magnet bonded to the bottom of this and then a plate of steel there. So this, not only can the whole stand fall over easily, but it's also easy to knock this piece of aluminum over. So I just took some polymorph plastic, heated it up, and then I used that to bond all three of them together, and also provide stable contacts for these drip trays, or whatever, basins, whatever you want to call them. And I just double taped the thing to a piece of plastic. So now there's really no way this can fall over because the footprint is so wide now. I also went and bought a green one, so I have 3 different sizes now. I don't feel like I'm gonna really need a 4th size right now, but if I do, I'll probably get a silver one later. And I don't even pay attention to the numbers anymore. I just now read small, medium, large, right? One little handy thing is just to keep a little bottle of water. I mean, you could go to the sink and all, but these things have so little water in them. See, I barely used any water. But if you're painting for a long time, I did notice, water does evaporate from this stuff. So you can top it off really easy with one of these little dropper bottles. And so let's see, we have just some thick gold paint there. This is wet already, but you can wet it again. I'm going to draw a little bit of the gold out. You'll see it's not sticking to the wax paper, which is logical. And let's see if I can paint some gold on here. All right, so that was a big brush right there. Well, actually, I'll do a little bit up here as well, just to make it match. Okay, so that is that. So now just let that sit in the water so it doesn't dry out. I mean, you could, let's also rinse it off in here. Yeah, you can see the gold dispersing quite a bit, so that's now a clean brush. So that's good. Let's do a little brown. Now maybe this brush is actually too wet, but if it is, you can just have a piece of tissue or a towel or something next to it. Okay. So this big brush works fine. If you're covering a lot of area, it does its job. All right. Now, I got this figure on this little stand here. Now I'm going to use the tiny brush here because I got to get the hair colored in this. I'll just get the excess paint off the back. And this is going to be hard here. Okay. So yeah, the little brush does its job. I mean, it's a paintbrush. Even though these handles are aluminum, I'm not feeling like I don't get the impression that they're gonna make you fatigue. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's a paintbrush. They do their job. Now, if you bank all three of these right next to each other, it might be a little bit more difficult to get the middle one out because they are so close to each other, you know. But if you just pull it from the top, I guess it's not an issue. So this is like the long and thin version of the brush. Sorry if it loses focus. I mean, I don't have three hands and I'm using two of them already. Okay, so that's it. I mean, it feels like just a high quality paintbrush. The ergonomics of it are fine. The even though there's a spring there, it's not really bothering me at all. You know, the bristles stay where they should be. So I think these are nice. I guess the main issue that I have is just the stands could have been designed better. If I were to redesign these things, I would have had the piece of metal here, you know, the piece of metal that's missing here, I would have had that bent down. If it was bent down, then these aluminum water basins can't fall out, you know, if the aluminum trapped it. But whatever. Or perhaps Dspiae should just come out with like a four stand, just as one piece of aluminum, you know, with four of these plastic things on it, and that might be easier, right? Cleaner at least than what I have, you know, my little polymorph plastic thing holding them together. All right, not much else to it. So, yeah, I'm happy with three. I think you can get away with just two. Again, the large brush and the smallest brush, and you'll be fine. And then you won't have this issue of trying to grab the middle one anyways. So, All right, take care. See you in the next tool video.